At the end of last year, you filmed a video with photographer Bruce Weber in New York for your song Being Boring. And so you just won an award for it.
Yes, we were just told in Britain it's won the Music Week Award for the best video of the year. As you know, we've always said, awards don't mean a vast amount to us, but as it happens, we were pleased that I won an award because I think it's such a fabulous video.
But I sat back and looking forward, my shoes were high and I had scores. I bolted through a closing door. I would never find myself feeling bored, 'cause we were never being boring. We had too much time to find for ourselves.
It was a great experience doing it with Bruce Weber because he's, you know, such a famous fashion photographer, and we liked the films he'd made, Broken Noses, and the film he made about Chet Baker. And he'd never made a video before, so it was kind of an honour that he agreed to do it. And also making the video itself was such fun. We had all these top models there, perhaps dozens of top models in New York in this house in Long Island. And yet at the same time, the video really captured, we thought, the feel of the song, the kind of freshness and innocence, slight weariness that's expressed in the song.
We will never be boring. We dressed up in thoughts and thoughts make amends. And we were never holding back, worried that time would come to an end. We were always hoping that, looking back, you could always rely on a friend.
Now, you've just been doing some more recording, haven't you? A few weeks ago on one of the other tracks of Behaviour, Jealousy. Why have you been doing that?
Well, we're going to release it as a single, and so we wanted to kind of rework it slightly, and so we thought it'd be good putting a real orchestra on it, and just put a couple of extra overdubs, and not for any real particular reason, really. I don't know if you can even tell which has got the real orchestra on and which hasn't. But it's an interesting exercise in how to spend money.
What's it about?
It's about jealousy. It's in the show, it's one of the final songs in the show. In fact, it's the climax of the show, Jealousy. Well, in 1986, we explored the possibilities of working with people from the theatre. And actually, the strange thing is, people in the theatre weren't really very interested in doing it. They kind of rather looked down on the idea of working with what they thought was the rock business. And then someone, a designer for the National Theatre, recommended David Fielding and David Alden because by that time they were quite infamous for their productions of classical operas at the English National Opera and I think at Covent Garden as well.
They've always been chatting with us about doing some kind of new style conceptual show based around their songs and with some kind of sort of strange storyline concept overlaid on it. They were influenced by the opera productions that we've been doing together in Great Britain, especially at the Coliseum in London at the English National Opera, where we're rather known for our kind of surrealistic, graphic, crazy productions of older operas.
Well, in the last tour, we visualised each of the songs separately, and we had film, stuff like that. And this one, it's not. On this tour, it's more or less followed through as a whole.
It was a challenge. It's something new. It's an interesting departure for us, and it's a very fluid type of format to have to work in. It's not tied down in the way that working with a script or a libretto as specifically would be. And I think we found that rather amusing.
It's more like sort of staging a kind of an abstract series of poetry or like
it's an event,
20 short stories
and
pulling them into some kind of cohesive order.
Opera's not very gentle anyway. Most operas have, a lot of operas are quite ferocious. Bluebeard's Castle, which we saw the other day, is about, you know, a man who brings all his wives back to his castle when he's married them and murders them all. And the way they've done this, it's not in a gentle style at all. It's quite ferocious, a lot of it.
Jacob, you're the choreographer on the tour. You don't really come from a pop music background, do you?
No. I suppose I'm sort of known for my arty arty sort of work. I usually do like contemporary dance companies is mostly what I've done in the past. I've pretty much done all of them, you know. And in fact, I haven't even seen a rock show for the last 8 years. I think I saw the Stranglers many years ago. So, no, I don't.
Presumably this isn't going to be very much like the Stranglers.
This isn't going to be very much like any rock concert.
What did you think when you were asked to do it? Were you a bit perplexed?
No, I wasn't perplexed at all. It was just like, whoa, yeah, I think, yeah, that would be a good one to do. Do the Pet Shop Boys, brilliant, yeah.
Chris, one of the most talked about highlights in the last tour was your dance sequence during Paninaro. Will you be reprising this in any way?
No, because of that, I've decided not to do one this time. I didn't like the reaction it got.
It's too popular.
Too popular.
Are you just visualising music as you would in an opera, or are you doing a completely different thing here?
Well, I mean, we're influenced by the score and the way the music sounds and the rhythms and things, and we're also influenced by the lyrics, and we've taken really a kind of random selection of their songs, some of them from the new album and some sort of greatest hits from the past, and we've kind of, over these songs, which really have some common themes but are basically just song after song, we've kind of overlaid a structure to it and a kind of a storyline, a kind of emotional structure.
Now, Chris, why do you want to do this? Perhaps you could prompt me at this point.
Well, you're just not very interested in doing a conventional rock show.
I mean, the first song is This Must Be the Place I Waited Years to Leave, which is about dreaming you're at school and so it's set in a school. And so they take fairly, some of them scenes take fairly literal, have very literal interpretations, like My October Symphony is kind of a Russian scene. But then as the show goes on, I think it gets more bizarre. And I mean, in Suburbia, which you saw before, I'm in a kind of iron cage having electric shock therapy, and I escape at the end. I don't think one should look for a fantastic amount of meaning as such in the way it's been visualised. When I say it's theatrical in its presentation. And often when you get images that aren't to do with anything, not to do with the lyrics, you do get a kind of meaning out of it. I'm sure there'll be some people who will be able to see the show and explain the whole thing. I find it difficult to see any kind of intellectual logic or something running through the whole show. But there is, it's basically a sort of travelogue in a way, you know, that way going from A to B to C to D throughout the, and we end up in heaven at the end, I think.
That's it. Wow.
As well as all the people from an opera background who are to do with the show's direction and design, you've got a lot of ballet dancers. Is it weird working with all these people who come from very different areas?
But it isn't really, is it? It isn't, no.
I think it's one of the good things about doing this is it's very interesting working with people from different creative areas, however you want to put it, and also mixing all these people. So you've got, you know, JJ Belle's fabulous guitarist. You've got, as you say, all these ballet dancers. There's 8 classically trained dancers. We also have 2 street dancers who are in the video for Where the Streets Have No Name and How Can You Expect to Take It Seriously. And that's been very interesting, seeing how they fit into the whole scheme of things with regard to the dancing, because actually they're doing a lot of dancing with the classical dancers and they're kind of keeping up with it. And I think that's what fascinates everyone, is that everyone comes from some such different backgrounds, and therefore there are no preconceptions about anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to touch it because they might think
And then
that.
maybe after a while it becomes like a believer, you know.
Okay.
Jerky.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I think you should basically just stay out front like this, and then for one time, maybe you.
Oh, brilliant.
Then you just come back downstage again until you're ready to get it. And then you just
There are, I believe, 34 weeks. There's lots and lots of costumes. We have 2 wigs, don't we?
Yeah.
In the second half of the show, we have.
Each wig is made with real hair from Eastern Europe because they get it cheaper over there. And each hair has to be positioned separately in each wig.
As far as we're concerned, what we like about it is that it's visually interesting and exciting and entertaining all the way through, and there's always something new happening. And that was really our starting point for this show, and that's what I feel confident that we've achieved. I also think when we did the Derek Jarman show last time, which we were very happy with, when we did it, we still felt it looked a little bit like a rock show, in that there were musicians on the stage. With this show, you could never really claim that it looked like a rock show, even the way it's lit. Heather Carson, the lighting director, has never worked in rock music before. She worked exclusively in the theatre and the opera. I think for an audience going to this show, it'll be really, I hope, an exciting experience, and they'll feel they're seeing something new. And I also think, having done the show with Derek Jarman last time, expectations are raised, and we wanted to fulfil those expectations by going, even more over the top, if you like, this time. I think that the song with this show is most like, if you saw the last shows, It's a Sin and Shopping are the ones that perhaps are most similar.
You've recently had it as a single in some parts of the world. How can you expect to be taken seriously? It's been taken as a rather sly dig at lots of pop stars. Is that right?
Yes, it is. I don't know. It's a kind of rather open dig at pop stars generally. I mean, it's in the kind of tradition of opportunities, for instance. Actually, it was quite nice just to be able to get digs at things that really nauseate us, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which they have in America. And the obsession there's been, although it seems to be receding now, with doing things for charity and maximum publicity at the same time that you get in the rock business, where you kind of feel that it's not necessarily a good thing that rock stars are try to present themselves in an incredibly positive and they're warm and wonderful human beings kind of way. And I think the song is about the kind of self-serving nature of a lot of people in pop music. And also it's funny, it's not, I don't know how seriously it's meant really.
Do you ever fall prey to any of the vices in the song?
I think probably all of them, yeah.
And so if people don't catch us this time, they're not going to catch us again, and they will literally have missed out on the best rock show that the world has ever seen.
Fair enough. But you're not going to split up afterwards or anything?
Yeah.